let's kick things off with the story of a man whose name is a big deal on two different continents. Seriously, his life sounds like something straight out of a grand adventure novel. So, who exactly was this French aristocrat who became a hero of the American Revolution? Well, his story is all about conviction, incredible courage, and just this relentless pursuit of liberty. And get this, he earned this incredible nickname. I mean, what a title, right? It just hints at an absolutely extraordinary life lived across oceans and in the middle of revolutions. So yeah, let's dig in and figure out how he pulled that off. All right, so Lafayette's journey doesn't start on some gritty battlefield. Nope. It begins in the super fancy, opulent world of the French nobility, a world that was all about birthright and tradition, and a world he was totally ready to leave behind for an idea. I mean, by any standard, this guy was born with this silver spoon. His family had this long, proud military history, and he was immensely wealthy. But his life was also marked by tragedy early on, especially when his father was killed fighting the British. And you can bet that little detail is going to come back to shape his allegiances later. Think about it. At an age when most of us are just, figuring things out, Lafayette already had the whole package: a noble title, a giant chateau, and a family since he was married to Adrienne. But he felt this pull towards something bigger, a purpose that was way beyond the courts of France. So when he heard about the American colonists fighting for liberty, it just clicked for him. You have to remember, for a young man from a rigid monarchy, the idea of a people fighting for self-governance, that was absolutely electrifying. He became totally convinced that their struggle against the British was his struggle too. Okay, so this represents a massive personal investment. When Lafayette found out that the Continental Congress was too broke to pay for his trip, what did he do? He just bought his own ship, the Victoire, and funded the entire journey to America himself. Just incredible. And look, this was not just some youthful adventure. His commitment was the real deal. He risked everything: his fortune, his status, even his freedom, by defying a direct order from the king. All of that just to sail across an ocean and join a war. So he gets to America, and this is where his journey takes a pivotal turn. It's here that this young, idealistic Marquis is about to meet the man who would basically become the father he never had. And the connection was instantaneous. You've got Washington, the stoic general, who was completely charmed by the young Frenchman's passion. And then you have Lafayette, who was just in awe of the commander. They formed this bond that was so much like a father and son, and it lasted their entire lives. Can you even imagine? At just 19 years old, the Continental Congress commissions him a major general. Now, okay, it was an honorary title at first. They didn't give him any troops to command. But still, it was a remarkable rank for someone so young and from another country. And this quote, it just perfectly illustrates his attitude. When Washington showed him the state of the beat-up Continental Army, Lafayette came back with these humble words. He wasn't some arrogant aristocrat. He was a sincere student of liberty, and you better believe Washington was deeply impressed. And he didn't wait long to prove his courage. In his very first battle, he gets shot in the leg. But instead of running off for medical treatment, he helps organize an orderly retreat, preventing a total disaster. Washington himself praised him for his bravery and military ardor. He had absolutely earned his place. That deep bond of theirs was truly solidified through shared hardship. Lafayette didn't go looking for comfort. He endured that brutal, freezing winter at Valley Forge right alongside Washington and the American troops, sharing their suffering and making their resolve even stronger. But here's the thing, he was more than just brave. He was a pivotal commander. He was a diplomat who went back to France and successfully secured more soldiers. He was a strategist, skillfully leading his troops in Virginia. And ultimately, he was instrumental in trapping the British at Yorktown, the final major battle that won the entire war. So, after helping win a revolution overseas, Lafayette returns to France a hero. But the irony is, he finds his own country on the brink of a revolution that was going to be far more bloody and chaotic. He tried to apply those American ideals he'd fought for back home. With some help from his friend Thomas Jefferson, he co-authored France's Declaration of the Rights of Man and of the Citizen, a document that was directly inspired by the American experiment in liberty. But the French Revolution just spiraled into extremism. Lafayette's moderate approach left him with enemies on all sides. He was too revolutionary for the Royalists and too conservative for the Radicals. So, in a cruel twist of fate, the hero of one revolution became a prisoner of another, spending years locked away in an Austrian jail. So even though his role in France was complex and, frankly, dangerous, his heroic legacy in the United States was already sealed. It was an unbreakable bond forged in the fires of war. And America did not forget its adopted son. Decades later, when he came back as an old man, his tour was a massive national celebration. He was greeted by ecstatic crowds everywhere he went, a living legend, and the last surviving Major General of the Continental Army. And in death, just as in his extraordinary life, he united his two homes. He asked to be buried in Paris, but under American soil, a powerful and permanent symbol of the two worlds he served and the ideals he championed. His incredible story really leaves us with this one last question. What rare combination of principle, personal courage, and just unwavering dedication allows a single person not only witness, but to fundamentally shape the destiny of two great nations?